What's up, guys? It is finally time to do the test between the ChemX Stars and Stripes touchless wash and the Imbue high gear and low gear touchless wash systems. So here we have the two 32-ounce bottles of the ChemX, and yeah, I'm super excited to get into this, guys. Okay, so for dilution ratios, we're going to be doing what's on the label. So the Chemex Stars and Stripes states to dilute them 4 to 1, 4 parts water, 1 part chemical. And the Imbue Car Care, they say to do 4 ounces to the foam cannon, which brings it to a dilution ratio of 7 to 1, so a little bit of a higher dilution ratio with the Imbue touchless system. Okay, so I want to go ahead and show the current condition of my truck, and it is pretty nasty. And trust me, guys, I usually take really good care of my vehicles. It's just that it was raining for the past couple days, and then it started snowing, and I've been driving to and from places, so the truck has just gotten dirty due to the conditions of the road. But y'all asked in the last video that I made to make a video using these products on a dirtier vehicle, and I think that my truck here is going to deliver that content that you guys want. So yeah. And before we get into the wash, I want to talk about the pH levels of these chemicals. So starting off with the Imbue low gear, it looks like we are at a pH of 4 when you dilute it with the 4 ounces. And then with the high gear, we're going to be close to the pH of 12. That's the closest one that I could see. So pH of 4 and pH of 12. Moving on to Chemex. This is their Stars, which is their acidic one. I was really in between like the 3 and the 4. I couldn't quite see exactly which one it would be best, but I would say probably 4. And then their Stripes is going to be their high pH one, and that one also was closest to 12. So both are basically pH of 4 and pH of 12. So I wanted to show you guys that this gunk will not come off with just the pressure washer alone. As you saw, it ain't going nowhere, so it's going to be a really good test. We're going to start off doing the driver side with the Chemex system. So here we go with the Stars. I'm going to go ahead and just do half of the vehicle with Stars, and as you can see, it is a decently foamy soap. Not the foamiest ever, but it is going on nice. We're going to put this on, then we're going to cover it up with Stripes. Alrighty, so as we started with the Stripes portion, it started off totally fine and normal. Stripes is a more runnier soap, but here you guys can see the foam cannon is kind of starting to mess up. It's kind of like sputtering a little bit, which was odd. Hasn't happened. I just did a whole fleet of 5 trucks, and it didn't really screw up at all, so this was a little bit weird. I wasn't really able to figure it out on how to fix it, so I'm just pouring in the solution into this Bruggs foam cannon here. I'll be doing the rest with that foam cannon. Alrighty, take 2 of applying Stripes. Alrighty, it is time to do the funnest part of a touchless wash, which is the rinse off. Now, it is very important that you guys, if you're using a lower PSI and GPM pressure washer, like me, I'm using a Ryobi 1800, you want to use the 25-degree nozzle tip, and you want to get in close, because that's going to help you clean a little bit better. Normally, they recommend some higher flow and higher PSI pressure washers for this, because you're just going to get more cleaning power out of it. But you can still definitely do this with just an El Cheapo pressure washer like my Ryobi. Just make sure you're getting up close using the 25-degree tip, and yeah, you should be totally fine. But look at that. That's what I'm talking about. It is so fun, so interesting. Of course, not every vehicle needs to be touchless washed, and you also need to have your expectations set. A touchless wash isn't going to clean your vehicle 100%. It'll get it to around 90-95% clean, and you could even spray on a quick detailer on afterwards and towel dry, and you'll be fine. But on those show cars, they're super nice, fancy show cars, you probably don't want to do the system. But on something like my work truck, or if you want your vehicle to pass the 10 feet away test, yeah, this stuff is going to be killer. And let's go look at how it does on the wheels. It is dissolving all this grime off, and I've just been pretty happy, and I think this whole touchless system is pretty fun. It's really good for doing fleet washes, and I mean just look, it just did really good on the wheels. Now go ahead and get a close up on this, and again, this is just talk about detail and being fun. I don't know what it is about doing this. Maybe it's because I grew up watching a whole lot of Detail Geek, and seeing all those stripes that he would make while pressure washing. I don't know. Really fun, really satisfying, super satisfying to watch. But I'm gonna quit yapping and just let you guys see the rest of this rinse off on the Chemex side. Okay, so you can kind of see the little border of where my magnet was, but I mean it removed, like I said, around 90% of it. So ultimately to get that last 10%, I'm going to be doing a contact. But hey, pretty impressive. Pretty impressive what it does on this wheel too. So yeah, just wanted to chime in and say that. Alrighty, it is time to test out the Imbue low gear. So we're going to go ahead and do the same process as we did with the Chemex. As you guys can see, the low gear is a whole lot foamier. It is really, really foamy. I mean, however, we did put 4 ounces in there. So, also, fair warning, this stuff smells very strong. It has a very vinegary type smell. So keep that in mind. It smells strong. And you also want to wear gloves when you're doing this, not only because it is a pH of 4, but also because it's a colored soap, so you can definitely stain your hands for a bit if you don't have gloves on. So wear some gloves, that way you don't have some yellow spots on your hands. Don't wear white, and yeah, but I think the colored part of it's pretty cool. So. And you know the drill. It is time for the step 2, which is high gear. So we're going to foam on high gear right on top. And high gear, maybe it's because I haven't changed the orifice on this foam cannon. It is still very, very foamy with the stock orifice. I bet you if I change it to a 1.1 like I did with the low gear, it'll be super foamy as well. But just got to do the same thing we did with the Chemex. And just spray the high alkaline soap on top of the acidic soap. What this is going to do is going to create a pH shock, which should make removing the dirt that's on the surface a whole lot easier. So that's the science behind it. I'm really new to touchless wash systems as well. So these are like the first 2 touchless ones I've really played around with, the actual 2-step ones. So yeah, but that's technically the science behind it. That's how it works. So you foam the 2 on and then you rinse off. Alrighty, it's time to rinse off, and this time I'm going to let the video do most of the talking. As you guys are going to see, the results are also very good. I may stop it once or twice to make some commentary, but yeah, go ahead and enjoy this very satisfying clean with some background music.
ask you about love. Probably quote me a sonnet. But you've never looked at a woman and been totally vulnerable. Oh my God, put an angel on earth just for you. Could rescue you from the depths of hell. And you wouldn't know what it's like to be her angel.
Alrighty, now we gotta see how well both of those actually cleaned, and we'll be doing this test using some CTX rinseless, and we're going to be using this right here, this auto fiber double flip, and this will be able to show any of the leftover dirt that was left on the panels. So we're starting off on the Chemex side on this rear portion of it, and there's really not much dirt left, which is pretty impressive. So now we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna keep on just seeing if there's any leftover dirt on these areas. The Chemex side did really well, as you guys can see. There's really not much left. Now you can still kind of see the border of the magnet right there, so there's definitely something left here. But with just a quick little wipe with the rinseless and the towel, it's coming right off. This is honestly something that you could do if you just sprayed on some rinseless and use a drying towel. That'll definitely take off that last little bit. So honestly, I have been very impressed right now with the Chemex side over here. With the cleaning power that it brought, it definitely removed a good chunk of it. There's definitely still a little bit of dirt on the mitt, but very impressive. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the back side of my camper shell and see if any dirt was left on here. And there's a tiny bit, but again, not a whole lot. So good job, Chemex. Alrighty, so moving on to the imbue side, we're going to do the exact same thing. We'll be washing the same parts of the truck to see if there was anything left. And there was definitely a little bit here, but not much actually on the towel. Just very, very light and very thin film. However, here in this little corner, there was definitely some like water staining, because I guess a part of the top of my shell was kind of doing a drain thing. So there's definitely a little bit more of a staining there, as you guys can see. It definitely didn't come off with the pressure washer when I was rinsing off. But yeah, so this side definitely did good too. It left a tiny bit more dirt than the Chemex side. But I do think this side was a little bit dirtier because we had those specific dirty spots of where the water was running down and the water had frozen, and I guess I just trapped all the nasty gunk in there. So yeah. So what I'm seeing most on this side is I definitely do think it left a little bit more dirt than the Chemex did, but that's kind of to be expected because of the dilution ratios. So the Chemex calls for a 4-to-1 dilution ratio, while the imbue calls for a 7-to-1. So you're definitely using a whole lot of less product. So just to make it easier, that's about 120 milliliters for a full foam cannon for the imbue, and 200 milliliters of a full foam cannon with the Chemex. So you're definitely using a lot more product, but the results have been very good. Honestly, with both, you can just spray some rinseless onto the panels after you're done rinsing off, and then you can towel dry, and you'll get that last little 10%, that last 15%. You don't want to do that on a really nice, fancy, gloss black car, of course, but on some work trucks, on some big, heavy equipment, it's going to be good enough. Now, if anybody knows what's going on with my foam cannon, please let me know, because it's now making this whole surging thing, which is weird because when I take the foam cannon off, my pressure washer is fine. It doesn't do any of the surging things. But I can't really complain because Chemex did send me that kit for free, so I'm not really going to complain, but yeah, that's my issue. Also, I'm not sure if you can really even fix it or take it apart, because if you look in here, there's really no spot to, like, they usually have like a little nut that you can use in there to remove that and take it apart and clean some of the parts in there, but I can't seem to do it. So if anyone knows if I can take this apart and clean it, let me know. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and talk about my final thoughts of the two. So as I said earlier, I do think the Chemex did a better job on cleaning my truck. However, I do think it is due to the dilution ratios, and at the dilution, you are going to be spending a little bit more money, because you're using more product, and it's really not that cheap, except for when you look at the Imbue and all the results that it did, and the fact that these are only $38 a gallon. It's pretty impressive, and the dilution ratio of only 4 ounces or 7 to 1. That's pretty impressive in my book. However, there is something you guys need to watch out with both. So my bumper was repainted by the body shop when I took it in for some repairs, and I think they only did a base coat. There was no clear, no nothing. As you guys can see, both of the chemicals did some damage to it. The Chemex did a little bit worse damage, but in my opinion, it's not that big of a deal because I do plan on repainting it myself. However, the truck does look really nice and clean, but in the meantime, what I'll be doing is just adding some dressing. This is SGS tire dressing by Nighthawk brand. It also does good on trim, and it makes the bumper look a lot better. But yeah, just watch out if you have no protection or single stage. Maybe be careful with this stuff. So that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you had any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing for more content like this. And if you do buy anything of the affiliate links below, that'll be greatly appreciated. But yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.